This video will be moving on to the setup of the FK, right? So in continuation to the previous video, I have set up for the right hand side as well, right? So the IK arm and the elbow swivel control as well, right? But before I did that, what I did was I actually selected the arm IK control group for the right hand side, and I have duplicated it over here. Okay, so this is we're gonna have a series of controllers, right? So starting with the first one is for our oops, right? Let's just move away. Right, this is going to be for our clavicle, right, our shoulder, right, and then we're going to have another set for the upper arm and one more set for the forearm. Okay, for the FK setup, we don't need to create one for the wrist. Okay, in a moment I'll show you. All right, so what I'll do for this is I'm just going to rename this. Okay, let's go to rename. Right, so I'm going to call this clavicle, and for clavicle it's just an FK, so I'm just going to put there clavicle FK control group, and then oops, I should have copied the name here, and let's just put it in. Okay, so this is going to be the left side, right? So you can kind of see if you don't name controllers as you create it along, it's going to get a little bit messy if you kind of forgot to change the L or the R, okay, the orientation, or you're going to forget to kind of just change stuff. Okay, so it's better to kind of name as you go along. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to just put it here, press Ctrl D. Okay, we're going to create another set. Okay, this is for the upper arm, so I'm going to call this upper arm FK. Okay, remove the number 1 digit, and let's copy the name. Okay, for the controller as well. And last but not least, I'll need another set, and these guys are going to be called the forearm FK. Copy and paste it for the controller as well. Right, so we have 3 sets. Okay, let's move it out. There you go. Okay, so the next thing you would want to do is you would want to kind of place it in position and make sure it fits nicely in your model. So we're going to bring back our proxy arm so we can have a look. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to snap it to my clavicle. So I'm going to select the clavicle shoulder, join here, followed by my clavicle control group. Okay, so I'm going to constrain, parent constrain. Right, if it's funny, not to worry. Okay, delete the constraint node. Now we can work with the controller. Right, so it's going to get a little bit messy here. Let's have a look. What if I scale the controller? Okay, now it's not going to work well. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'll flip it. Let's isolate it and control vertex. Okay, we're going to rotate relative 90 degrees. Okay, bring it back to object mode, and let's turn off our oops, that's my tool. Oh, here you go. Oops. Right, let's step snap, turn it off. Okay, so we have the controller there. Okay, now if it's a little bit messy still, what you can do is you can move it out as well. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to move this out, forward, and maybe scale it down a bit. and move it back a little bit inwards towards the chest. Right, we can move it up as well, not to worry. Maybe a little bit to the side. Okay, because I'm moving the control vertices, okay, so it's not really a problem. I'm not moving the pivot point, so if I go back to object mode, you can kind of see my pivot point is still there at the joint. Okay, it's just that okay, the shape is out here in front of the body. Okay, right, not too bad. Okay, maybe let's try this again. Maybe let's put it on the shoulder, right? That would be the best fit, right? It's going to be a shoulder control anyway. Okay. Well, but you would want to bring it slightly outwards here. Okay. Right, but if you select object mode now, you can see the pivot is still there, okay, at the joint, right? That's what we need. Okay, now you can kind of remember, okay, you can scale, but you need to freeze your scale. Okay, now you're going to duplicate it to the other side, Control D. Okay, to save it for later. You can kind of see the pivot is here, but the controller is here, right? So it's not going to fit in nice, right? So you need to put a negative sign on the scale X, -1. Oops, I think we used the wrong axis. So scale Y, I think, -1. There you go. Okay, so now it looks like this, and then we can just freeze the scale. Right, so the pivot is on the inside and the controller is on the outside. So when you start using it for this particular joint, clavicle on the right clavicle, you can see it's a mirror opposite. Okay, right. But one thing for sure, what I did was I kind of duplicate the controller instead of the control group. Okay, so that's where I kind of have it wrong. Okay, Control D. Right, so let's bring this here. Okay, we're going to use this for later. Right, -1, sorry, on scale Y. Oops, right, and then freeze scale. Right, so this can be used for later. Okay, remember, once you start having templates for your right hand side, always good to start renaming them. Okay, it's going to get a little bit crowded in your outliner. Okay, you need to know who is who, okay, before you lose track of your assets. Right, so okay, so these guys are here. If it helped you to kind of keep it clean in your outliner for the moment, okay, anything that has to do with the right hand side, okay, you just hide it away, Control H. Okay, so you don't kind of work with it for the moment, right? So then it's a little bit clearer for you. Okay, so right hand side, Control H. Okay, right, so I have my right FK joints. I'm going to hide them as well. Okay, let's work with the left hand side. Let's bring back our guy here. Where is it? There you go, Shift H. Okay, so I have my upper arm FK, forearm FK, and the wrist FK. Right, so first things first is to ensure that we bring it back into the position. Press V and snap it down. Okay, so all of them in the initial stage, they have to be at the same exact position as the skin bind joints or initial joints, right? Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to just snap this particular joint, this particular controller. Okay, so upper arm FK control group. Okay, we are going to put it here. So let's grab our upper arm FK, followed by the upper arm FK control group. Okay, let's parent constraint. Okay, once it's snapped here, don't forget to delete the constraint node. Okay, and again we have to work with the controller, okay, to ensure that it fits in our rig nicely. Okay, again, and we need the help of the step snap to rotate 90 degrees. Okay, if you find it's okay, let's go to object mode. Find it's too big, you can scale it down. Don't forget to freeze scale. Right, okay, so the next thing I want to do is for the forearm. So forearm FK join followed by, okay, forearm FK control group. Okay, so don't forget it's the group, parent constraint to snap it into position. Don't forget to delete, okay, the forearm constraint node. Okay, again we will need to work with our control verts. Okay, we're going to rotate it. I hope my step snap is turned on. Yes, it is. Now for the elbow, I'm going to rotate it the other way. Okay, this way. I hope you can see it. Right, why so? Freeze scale, because my elbow is going to rotate forward, okay, to bend the hand. Okay, so it's not going to rotate upwards. Okay, that's going to break the arm. Okay, so it's going to rotate forward, right? So this way it's clearer for the animator. They know that the orientation of the elbow or the forearm is going to go forward this way. Okay, right, so if we are happy with this, right, okay, just like our spine, right, so you have this is torso 1, if I'm not wrong. Yep. Okay, so torso 1 control group, then you have torso 1 control. Underneath torso 1 control you have the torso 2 control group, and underneath torso 2 control group you have the torso 2 control, right? So every alternate, okay, you have the control group, okay, and in between them you have the control, right? So same method for the arms, FK arms, right? So let me hide this away. Okay, so you have clavicle control group. Underneath it you have the clavicle control. Underneath the clavicle control you have the upper arm FK group. Okay, so drag and drop it in there. And underneath the upper arm FK group you have the upper arm FK control, right? And underneath this upper arm FK control you have the forearm FK group, right? And underneath this group you have the control of the forearm. Okay, so if I move the clavicle control, okay, you see it move my upper arm. If my upper arm moves, it's going to move my elbow, and my elbow or my forearm can be rotated as well. Okay, this is what forward kinematics is. Start from the root, go to the next, go to the next, to pose it, okay, in a forward manner. Whereas IK starts from the end part or end portion. You just move the end portion and then reverse, okay, the rotation all the way back to the root. Right, so once the controllers are set, okay, then we need to do the connection. Okay, so I'm going to hide away the proxy arm. Right, so for you to see, for you not to be confused, always use your outliner. This is the best method for me. I'm going to select the clavicle control first. So now we're going to work with the controller, not the groups anymore. Okay, clavicle FK control. Okay, followed by, I'm going to press control. Let's find clavicle L. Okay, so this is clavicle joint. Okay, joint doesn't have a IK or FK preference. Okay, so select the clavicle control FK control, followed by the clavicle joint. Okay, constraint, parent constraint. Next, okay, I'm going to select my upper arm FK control. Now this upper arm FK control must be connected with or constrained with the upper arm FK joint, of course. Okay, so select the control first, followed by the upper arm FK joint, parent, constraint. Same with the forearm, go to the forearm controller, FK control, followed by the forearm FK joint, constraint, parent. Okay, and the wrist doesn't have to follow. So now if I were to rotate my clavicle joint, you'll be able to see, oh, it moves, right? And this is my FK upper arm, and this will be my forearm, right? Now at the moment you will see, oh, now I have three particular joints, right? What's the one in between? The one in between is my upper arm. Okay, in the next video I'll show you how to kind of connect the initial arm, okay, to either follow the FK or the IK, right? But for now, okay, so my FK is done and my IK is done, right? So the next step is to kind of make sure that they are able to switch from one to the other.